like sync the emotion of this whole thing up completely. So either we all do it completely deadpan and emotionless, or throw something in there.
Hey, welcome to the GameEnthus podcast. There are 3 hosts on this show. I'm Aaron. I'm one of them.
And I'm Mike. I'm 2 of 3.
And I'm David Tiny Whalen, and I don't know what the f- to say after that.
We're saying first and last now? Is that a thing?
Oh, I mean, I was definitely gonna say my nickname, and it seemed, I guess I could go David, aka Tiny.
When I say Mr. Thompson and tap my foot 3 times,
you say hello.
I think he's talking to you.
I see you in a lonely place. How can you be so blind? You're still regretting the love you left behind. Oh, darling, I seen you go through the changes, sitting alone each night. Are you expecting to find the love is mine? Darling, I'll be right.
All right. It is January 24th. This is GameEnthus podcast episode 333. I'm one of the hosts here. Aaron, Tiny is here.
Hey, I am here. I'm back again.
Mike is here.
I'm still here.
And more important than all of us, we have a special guest this week. We have Karrie from TinyBuild Games and some other things. So
Lots
Karrie,
of other things.
Lots of other things. We want to hear all about those things, Karrie. Tell us about yourself.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we have enough time. As you mentioned, I am a producer with TinyBuild, so we're an independent game publisher. We've done a lot of games now, which include Hello Neighbor, which was our most recent release, Party Hard, Punch Club, Speedrunners, a lot of games with clear issues in terms of just like, hey, you're killing your neighbor. Hey, you're sneaking into your neighbor's house. That's what I like to think of our portfolio, is just kind of weird indie games. And I'm also a director of marketing at an agency, and we do a ton of stuff there as well. I work with Funimation, Arc Systemworks, Bandai Namco in the past, a lot of Japanese publishers, because we do localization as well. So the list is giant in terms of weird projects that I work on all the time.
Wow. So where did you start? Let's go back to where did you start to get to where you are now?
Ooh, are we doing a life story now?
Yes.
Well, when I was born, I always grew up playing games. When I was in college, I kind of knew I already wanted to work in the gaming industry. And it wasn't until a few years out of college that a company finally took a chance on me. I got a unpaid internship that was just like, hey, just kind of do the work that nobody else wants to do. It's a production internship. And just come help our studio out. And I said, sure, I just want to get into the industry. And that company ended up being Riot Games. So they were still up and coming. League of Legends was still very much the underdog. This was pre-season 1. And I was lucky enough to get my start in the industry there. And that was, 8 years ago now and I haven't looked back. I love this industry. I grew up playing games, and I feel like it's a dream job I get to live every single day.
Lots of travel. I see on your Twitter account, you just got back from New Zealand, I believe.
Mm-hmm. New Zealand. I was out there for PAX Australia and did that back-to-back with New Zealand. Just came back, I think, a couple of weeks ago from San Antonio for PAX South also. So I do a lot of the PAXs.
Okay. How was PAX South?
It was great. We have TinyBuild just has a great presence at PAX. We're just that loud, annoying orange booth. The show itself was kind of a bit smaller this year. Last year we had, Nintendo there. The Switch was just about to come out. Twitch, as usual, with their partner booths. But this year, a lot of the bigger vendors pulled out. And I don't know if it was the timing, because it was honestly the second week of the new year, or if people are starting to have other avenues like, Sony has PSX and Twitch has TwitchCon, so maybe they don't need PAX South anymore. which I still hope that show grows. I love PAX. That's honestly my favorite convention, and having done a lot of convention, it's still honestly my favorite show. So I'm not really sure why it was kind of down in attendance and attention, but I hope that changes. We've got East coming up in 2 months now, so we'll see.
That's unfortunate. We all know that clearly South is the newest. It's the smallest. But maybe is it a sign that maybe there are too many conventions? I don't know how to read. The timing of the year certainly does play into that. But a lot of people are in Texas. It's not like there's not,
yeah, kind of a big state, right? Yeah, I think a lot of conventions certainly is doing it. I feel like every company, everyone is doing an event right now because it's like, hey, yeah, we can have our own focused event and get, maybe 50,000 plus people. But I mean, it's like every week, I swear, I mean, I live in California, so like every week there is 1 or 2 shows at any given time. There's always a Comic-Con going on in like seriously every state all the time with Wizard World and all the various ones. So I don't know, where are you guys all at? Do you guys find a lot of shows where you are as well?
I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in Maryland, right outside DC. Tiny's in Delaware. Mike's in Pennsylvania. There's
call it just the Mid-Atlantic general area.
Yeah, there's a good number of conventions over here.
Yeah. And speaking of, you mentioned earlier about like specifically, I assume with PAX South and not like some companies pulling out and what have you. I will say that, shocking as it was, I noticed yesterday, as of yesterday anyway, that both Thursday and Sunday badges for PAX East are still available right now on the website.
Oh.
So obviously Friday and Saturday are sold out, but this is shocking to me considering how difficult it's been over the last few years to get tickets of any kind. And if you want, you can just go to the lesser attended days of PAX with no problem whatsoever.
Sunday was always the slow day at PAX though, for PAX East.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, once they broke it out into we don't sell 3-day badges anymore.
Right. Like that's what that was always the slow day, and I mean.
And Thursday's the brand new day.
Thursday, you got to be committed. Like you got to, hey, I'm taking this day off, and if you're traveling, you probably came in the night before. So like
probably. But it's more than I thought. I would have assumed with this much time since the tickets went on sale that they would have been completely gone.
I would have thought so too.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by that.
I don't know. I know Sunday hasn't sold out until right before the show for the last couple of years.
You get an extra day too. So
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm very excited. More indies to see. Yes.
Perfect. See them on Thursday before they're just like asleep at the booth. Yeah. Later in the convention.
This has been my 4th day of talking about the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys and gals, they gotta be not keen on this. To be like, look, Friday and Saturday were brutal. Sunday was always like, I mean, you guys remember Sparse Vector showing off Plague Monkey the one year we met up with him?
Yeah.
He was like dead on his feet, and that, I think, wasn't that Saturday?
Yeah, it might have been like Saturday, like right after
late
lunch.
Afternoon. Yeah, like it's brutal. Like
we could have said anything to him. We're like, we did a show, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
That indie mega booth, they don't get seats. They stand there all day long talking to people, and now it's 4 days. It's brutal.
So, Karrie, because you go to these shows, what is it like for you?
No one I know is happy with the 4-day thing. And I just say that from the industry side. Like, we're all the people who go to all of the events. And so 4 days is really brutal, though a lot of that's kind of our own fault. You can kind of be like, oh, which night is the Twitch party? The next morning is going to be the worst for everybody because everyone's just going to show up possibly drunk from the night before. I'm not exaggerating. This is what happens. It is really draining. And I mean, every show slows down a lot on Sunday. And for PAX in particular, they don't end the show early on Sunday. Like, I don't know if that's different I don't think it's different for their 4-day shows because West has been 4 days for a while. But it goes straight until 6 o'clock, whereas other shows like the Comic Cons and such, they end at like 2 or 3 on the last day, just because, you know, it really does die off. Like, I was actually really happy to hear you guys be excited that it's 4 days. You get enough time to see everything, because it's true, like, the lines to actually see stuff as an attendee are kind of nuts, right? But it's grueling. It's really hard to do that 4-day thing. So we're not happy about it. We're hoping it just doesn't snow, because in the last 3 years, like, the blizzard has buried PAX East, and so we were thinking like snow plus an additional day. Like, we were all just so not into it.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. I mean, it's New England.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm from Los Angeles. Snow is not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2 years, 3 years ago when we all knew the snow was impending, so we all got there a day earlier than planned, and I mean, that felt like we were there for a week.
They were putting snow into the bay because they had no other place to put the snow.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, you carve out holes in the snow so you can cross the street. It was intense, but being in April, fingers crossed. I hope we don't have to deal with that this year.
We'll see.
We'll see. You got it. You got it.
So what else, Karrie, would you like to share?
About PAX?
Or
whatever.
In general? I guess I put down a note that I did want to plug one thing. So I'm very excited about this event. One of the projects I'm working on is the Super Saiyan Showdown. So this Friday, as you guys know, is Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Fighters release. And everyone's like really super excited about that. And with Funimation, we're doing an event where the voice actors for Goku and Vegeta, Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat, are playing a match against each other. They have challenged each other on Twitter. We're going to live stream it. It's going to be like, you know, a big MMA fight. And we're doing a bunch of show matches. And it's just going to be a really good time. That airs tomorrow, which is Thursday the 25th, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Funimation's, you know, all their channels, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. So tune in, I guess, if you guys are around or if anyone's listening to this before the event actually happens. I'm pretty freaking excited about that.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah. Are you guys excited about Dragon Ball Fighters? Are you guys into that?
Yeah.
I'm not into the show, but
No,
I like
to
animation in general, and I've heard a lot of good things about what this game looks like. And in the general sense, I definitely want to see it, but I tried the beta, and I just was not able to get into a match, unfortunately. But I really wish I had been able to, because I still want to see it. I might just have to like go to Twitch or something and watch something.
I have no intention of actually playing it, but I'm happy for people who like it that it looks like they're finally getting a really good Dragon Ball Z fighting game. And I'm sure people have been waiting for that for a very long time. So if that's what this looks like it is, that's excellent. Because there's been ones that look really good in the past that didn't really pan out all that well, from what I've heard. So am I wrong? I don't know.
No, you're spot on. I mean, I think everyone, when they hear anime games, they're like, oh, okay, don't have to pay attention to that. You know? So the fact that this is an honest, legit entry, it's very it's going to be very competitive, and something that, you know, we're all waiting to see, like, how does the competitive scene live on past the hype of, you know, the beta that everyone's been trying to get into. I'm with you guys. I'm actually not a good fighting game player. I'm a button masher, but having
button mash friendly. So.
Yeah. Actually, there is a button. There's literally a button that's the key blast button. And then I was playing it the other day, and I actually pulled off some combos, and I don't know how I did it, but I felt super cool because, as you mentioned, the art and animation is like amazing. And so, you know, they're making the game on the Guilty Gear XR engine, which is another game that I just love watching because it is a work of art. It is beautiful. It's like, you know, it's a 2D, it looks like a 2D fighting game, but it's built on a 3D system. So in the middle of the game, if you hit a combo, the camera will spin around and it'll play this amazing scene. And that's what we're going to see in the new Dragon Ball game. So I think Arc Systemworks just did an amazing job. I do obviously work with them. I'm not just, you know, like, full disclosure, I think it's amazing, like, regardless of working with them. It's a game I just like to watch personally. So yeah, but I'm with you guys. I'm not a fighting game player at all.
And we believe you. You did not say that robotically at all. You did not say, I think the game will be very good.
You didn't hear me checking off my PR talking points as I said that.
Wait a minute, listen. Okay, now there you are. We're good.
No, I'm the first to like smack talk when something's not good, so. I'm not making it up.
Who's next? Tiny.
Oh, yo. Well, I'll just cover two things. For the eighth year, me and some local friends are doing a fantasy Olympic draft, and we had it over the weekend, and we're gonna see how it works out because I have 12 countries as compared to everyone having like 3 or 4 otherwise. But they're like, I have Australia for the Winter Olympics, so we're gonna see how many medals they earn.
Pick up North Korea?
No, because the Koreas are together.
Right,
yeah,
but
right.
You specifically bid on North Korea, though. Right?
I drove up the Koreas. I did not end up getting the Koreas.
Okay.
I also
that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, I also did not get every other nation, which will include some Russian athletes. It's very disappointing. But Kazakhstan.
Well, so are they.
Part of my union. So other than that, it's been Extra Life United prep work. So, I mean, we've talked about this before, but Extra Life United is a tournament down in Orlando the first week of March, benefiting the Children's Miracle Network. And the games just got announced for the tournament. And it's Rivals of Aether, Sonic Mania, Rocket League, and some Tricky Towers.
No Tumblestone?
No Tumblestone. Well, so there's still the challenge games, which I'm still working with Lou and everyone to finalize. So we're still working on trying to finalize some Xbox One games for both that are appropriate for both the kids, so the champions from the hospitals, as well as the tournament participants to play in.
Tumblestone is on Xbox One.
So
I'll leave it alone.
So I mean, I can't say whether or not Tumblestone is already in consideration. But so we'll see. I mean, those 4 games that I mentioned are the 4 qualifier games, essentially. That'll get us to top 16. And then from there, it is a mystery tournament. So, and last year we had things from like some Kirby not pinball, but like Rampart, but featuring Hello Kitty characters to, I forget.
That seems kind of violent for Hello Kitty characters.
It was it was weird. Like, you shot this bouncy ball across at each other and had to take out like the blocking pieces. And I think it was a Super Famicom game. I don't remember. And I mean, there's $150,000 up for grabs for people's hospitals. So
people will learn how to play that game, then, won't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, from my Philadelphia group, Mr. Palumbo unseated the highest player. So number 1. So yeah. So we're just trying to finish up United Prep and get all the details out there for people to start practicing, because I think a couple hundred people are already registered to come down to Florida and play. So yeah. So it's that, and then I watched Godzilla on Netflix. I don't know. Did anyone else watch the anime that came out?
Oh, not the. Okay.
No.
So that makes more sense that you put Godzilla on here now.
Yeah, I watched the Matthew Broderick one. No,
that made no sense to watch that. That was the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah, you're better off watching the Taco Bell tie-in commercials from that era.
Better off staring at Google image pictures of Godzuki than doing that. That's a bad movie, man.
The one on Netflix is the first part of a 3-part series. I want to say, I don't know, it was interesting. Godzilla's like taking over the Earth. Humanity ran
in a good way or in a bad?
No, if you walk on 2 legs, you better get off this planet kind of way.
No matter what your size is, because if you're not a threat, like, why bother?
I mean, so essentially, whatever, the monsters are coming up. He's killing humans left and right. and then humanity leaves, but because of the how space travel works in the thing, when they come back, it's 20,000 years later.
What? Wait. Earth's population gets on a ship and says, "Goodbye, Godzilla. Have the planet."
The remaining population, yes.
The keys are under the doormat.
I believe at one point they blew up like Kentucky because I think for some reason Godzilla was in Kentucky. Who knows why?
It's a
maybe he wanted
small
some bourbon.
portion of the planet. I mean,
so it was weird.
Okay.
I don't know. It's interesting. You should watch it.
I should. It doesn't sound like it from your description.
Would you recommend it to Karrie to watch? Karrie, do you want to watch this now?
I'm not sure.
That's honest.
It's if you enjoy Godzilla, like giant monsters and whatnot, fun, because they can do all this stuff. The humans have some tech, there's some giant robots, but not like Gundams or Mech Warrior kind of giant robots, but they have power suits.
You said that with so much disgust, not like Gundams.
Man, no. If they had Jaeger, okay, actually, this is good. I'm glad you mentioned that because there's a new Pacific Rim trailer out today.
Yeah. That looks pretty good, actually.
I want that movie to be good, and I don't.
I hope it's good. I'm not sure that it's going to be, but I hope it's good.
Wait, can it be any worse than?
Whoa, no! Wait a minute.
Whoa,
Pacific Rim is a fun movie.
Yeah,
it is. This one looks fun too.
It looks less fun.
We'll see.
Karrie, have you seen the trailer for the new Pacific Rim?
I have not. I saw it going around. I, confession, have not seen the first Pacific Rim.
It's a good dumb movie.
Okay, I'm glad you said dumb.
Don't think about
God, you said dumb.
Don't think about of course humanity's best thing is to make giant robots. They seem very ineffective at times.
They're like, there's a drain plug at the bottom of the ocean. We need to close that plug up.
We have these really effective guns. Let's put them on these robots. Why don't we just put them around the hole? I don't know.
There are explosives of other types,
Anyway, it's a fun movie, but you have to turn your brain off because if you think about it, size change at times, they can pick up boats, and then you're like, that's weird that they're so much shorter than a skyscraper, and fit in a soccer stadium. Anyway, but yeah, I mean that's it. It's all Extra Life prep right now. I mean, the other thing I'll mention is, and you should have seen this announced yesterday on IGN, Extra Life and PUBG are teaming up for a charity event where the PUBG Corporation will match everything up to $300,000 donated.
Wow. I thought it was like
awesome.
$2 million or something. I
believe I have the numbers correct.
I mean, either number is impressive, but if it's 2 million, that's even better.
Can I have a question? I'm a curious man. You just mentioned Extra Life United trying to find games that are for a wide variety of different age groups. How does PUBG fit into that?
Okay, so I mean, A, let's not pretend children don't play PUBG, but B, and obviously that was Dave Whalen, and I don't work for Children's Miracle Network.
Not with that attitude, you don't.
Not with that answer, I don't. The PUBG event is going on between PUBG Corporation, which is, I think, a subsidiary of Bluehole, and Children's Miracle Network. It is to energize the PUBG community who have been very interested in taking part in the charity. As far as I know, it will not be played at the tournament, since there will be, there will be 64 champion kids that are flown out to Disney to play games and go on rides at Disney World and a bunch of stuff. So this will be an event that's for February. Technically, ELU is in March. So
okay, I got you.
They back onto each other, but I mean it's real interesting. They're gonna. I know, I raised $50 tonight. They're gonna match that, so that's $100 raised for Children's Hospital Philadelphia. So. The only thing is, it does not go to your total for your 2018 Extra Life
That's
campaign.
How separate it is, huh?
This is a separate campaign.
Okay.
So,
this is strictly a murder for charity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but
that's not the tagline. But okay.
People did. So anyway, hey, this all this is to help the kids, or whatever we can. So
help children.
All
right.
It's a good thing, but
definitely.
So yeah, it'll be head down until I've finished figuring out how to build all the systems for the tournament. So, and automate that so that I don't have to do it.
You should put images onto jazz drives and do it that way.
And then have people go, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Yeah, I'm never using a jazz drive again. I've gotten pretty good at this, but okay, we'll throw this out here. Sonic Mania is one of the games.
That's okay.
There's a competitive mode. There's a competitive mode in Sonic Mania.
Didn't even realize that.
I own it and did not know that.
You only unlock the competitive mode after you beat a stage. Good stuff.
A stage?
So, like, as you beat Green Hill Zone 1, it unlocks some competitive. Beat
like
Green Hill 2.
That particular stage competitive.
That stage.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Now, Steam holds everything in common files. That's where all game files are. But the save isn't in the common file. It's hidden in some user data file. So right now I'm trying to figure out how I can move those saves between and not have to have like 8 people beat the game in Orlando so that the stages are unlocked.
Hey everybody, we're going to play competitive Green Hill Zone Act 1.
Don't ask questions, just play the game.
So I'm working on that. But I think I have a way. But anyway, Mike, what about you?
So I did finally get around to watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Here it comes.
And that's a good movie.
Oh.
That's very entertaining. I wish I enjoyed Star Wars as much as this movie.
I saw Star Wars again and liked it like a lot better the second time.
I know you did. I don't think I'm going to have that same reaction.
Karrie, what were your Star Wars thoughts if you saw it?
I saw it. I have the same inclination where I want to see it again. My first impression was like, oh, I don't think I liked that very much. But as I kind of thought a little bit more about it and saw the fallout online, I think the director, Rian Johnson, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Rian Johnson, I really like him as a director, so I'm kind of predisposed to want to like it. I think he was really trying to do something different, and whether I want to rewatch it to figure out if I actually feel like he did do it. I think the mistake he made there was if he tried to do something different, he needed to make it more apparent what he was doing, because this is like a mass market thing. And if it's something that requires multiple viewings and real dissection to understand, he really did fall short of the mark, right? It's Star Wars. People aren't going to do that with Star Wars. Yeah. But so my first watch verdict, didn't like it. Thought Force Awakens was much better, which was also way better than Rogue One. I wanted to watch it again. Oh no, are you a Rogue One fanboy?
I'm not a fanboy. I enjoyed it.
But The Force Awakens was better.
It was until you think about the fact that The Force Awakens was kind of just a remake of the first Star Wars. It was
true,
structure was so similar. It was like, let's make the same movie again.
This one was pretty similar to Empire Strikes Back. In overtones.
But it introduced some elements that were that no other film had, though, for better or for worse.
I mean, they all introduced elements, but if you were to break it down to
yes, it is the dark middle chapter.
Here's the Force.
Yeah, but
here's this side story that has no real impact on the bottom line of what's going on in this whole universe.
I don't think it's crazy at all to say that The Last Jedi is way less of a clone of Empire than Force Awakens was of New Hope.
Because they were exact copies of each other. They just moved, but
derivation
was so slight. It was
instead of building their own planet, they'll just use another one to shoot the gun. It's okay.
But
I enjoyed 7.
Our main character goes and finds a Jedi Master to teach them things.
I'll put it this way: I've seen Last Jedi just the one time, and I do want to see it again, but I'm not going to go see it in the theater again. And I did enjoy Force Awakens more the second time, and I definitely enjoyed Rogue One more the second time.
Okay, well,
those are
the
caveats, but I don't think I'm going to have the same feeling with Last Jedi. Anyway, sorry.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. We got on a Rogue One tangent. You were saying.
No, I was honestly, I feel like as somebody who, I like Star Wars, but I don't have this, like, it's not rooted in me like it is for most fans. And so when I say stuff like this, it's just fun to watch the reaction. And you guys were all like, ooh, it's like I punched your baby or something.
No. I'm happy to let anybody feel any way they want.
Yeah,
But
I don't get upset about it. Like I didn't know if I liked episode 8 until like 3 weeks after I saw it. I wasn't sure. I was just like, I don't know what to think. What is this?
Why do the ships make noise on the planet when they enter the system? It's a real question.
No. That's your question. No, that's not real. That's just your individual
Similar-
Your questions are not real.
the answer is the same as why the TIE
Everyone in
Fighters
our
and
group-
X-Wings make the same sound in space as they do on any planet.
Because they don't make a sound in space, because that's not how sound works.
Why would a commanding
Show it on the
officer
movie.
not inform people on exactly what their plan is? Even if you're not going to tell everybody everything, tell them
That's not
something.
How sound works. Also, why don't we drive more ships into other ships? That seems real effective. Just throwing that out there.
It does.
Yo, we should have done that with the first ship, turned it around and shot it at.
As the only thing I have as a real argument as to why Rogue One was a great movie, K2SO is the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars thus far.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to agree with that.
Because if
Just a
the
copy of-
humor that they used in Rogue One was the same style of humor that they infused in Episode 8,
But it didn't work
would've
as well.
worked so much better.
It didn't
Because
go
the
over.
humor in Last Jedi stunk.
Well, it was either hit or like extremely
Zero
miss.
laughs in that theater.
It was
From
very out of
anyone.
place. It was very like, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, Ragnarok style of humor, which they try to
that's
shoehorn
true.
in. It didn't work.
Style, but none of it worked.
Yeah.
None of it hit. That's what was so disappointing about what they tried to do with that aspect of it.
It wasn't
And
as bad as the
Guardian
Justice League jokes that literally
was
no one made a
funny.
peep for.
I don't remember the jokes in Just. I know they were there, but
Yeah, that case in point. Like, there were
yeah.
jokes? Yeah.
like I remember them laughing at the end of the movie after everything goes down. And like I don't remember why they were laughing. But
Karrie, did you like Justice League?
Didn't see it. Too scared after the debacle of Batman versus Superman,
I
which
can't
I
blame
also
you.
didn't see.
But that's fair because like word of mouth was
just
enough to just get rid of people.
I'm just waiting for Karrie to be like, I haven't seen a DC movie since Green Lantern. Like I got burned. And I just,
After the 60s Batman movie with Adam West and Brett Ward. You
He
know?
pulled out the back
I
shark
hung up my own
repellent, and I was
the
just
Bat
like
Tusi.
burned.
You aren't wrong.
The Bat Shark repellent in a flat belt. It's like a 12-inch can, like a cylinder. The Bat Shark repellent.
But
So bad.
so you saw that, to bring this all back around.
Right.
You saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
I saw Guardians too.
What things? What things
like-
didn't make sense to you?
Not much. I mean,
Okay.
there was. I'll
Did
put
you
it
see the
this way.
Goldie Hawn cameo?
Don't.
Is this a joke? I don't even know.
Sorry, I had to.
I mean, I can understand how there could have possibly been, considering one of the actors who was in the movie.
Kurt Russell being the movie is not a secret. I'm just.
I don't know. There was a cameo that I had no idea about after like a year, and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Oh,
I mean,
well, yeah, there are several. Yeah, that they.
right, because they all make up. The,
Yeah.
the-
Yeah,
the
that's
original.
right. Yeah, there was even right. Yeah, it was more than I even alluded to. But no, I like the first movie. I like this one probably a little bit more even.
Wow,
But there
this
was
is refreshing.
one scene that I felt like, especially being under the Disney umbrella now, was kind of disturbing.
Giant Pac-Man.
No, that was fine.
Zoom.
I mean, that brought me to thinking about Pixels, which didn't make me feel happy. But
I never saw
was
it.
Half,
Never
that was
saw
half a second. No, the scene where Yondu murders like a couple hundred people,
Oh, that's so great.
and it's like the most gratuitous, violent. It's like as gratuitous as John Wick,
But it
this
was
is not
funny,
a
though.
rated movie.
Well, because they were all aliens.
So it makes it okay. Well, they were kind of bad or whatever.
I mean,
so
But it's the same. It's the same argument for the ESRB. Like, yo, they're all aliens. So not as violent.
I mean,
That's how Halo got a teen rating.
It didn't. Oh, later, but I mean, initially the first 3, 4, 5 of them or something were M-rated games.
Well, there's only 4 official Halo.
Well, no, but I mean, when you factor in ODST and Reach and whatever. I'm just saying it felt a little bit out of place. It felt a little too much like.
Didn't he do the same thing in the other movie?
He might have, and I might have forgotten about it.
Yeah, but they were all mindless drones.
But he did the same thing. So it wasn't. I hear you. It wasn't.
I mean, it was like between the slow mo and the body count. I felt like it started to. I started to kind of go like, let's just end this scene and move on because I don't want to watch any more of this.
You felt like it was that scene from Hot Shots where Charlie Sheen is shooting everybody and they have the kill count. And it's like,
but that is strictly ridiculous humor without any like ties to let's think about this. Like, this is a ridiculous movie, Guardians is. I mean, and it's fun and it doesn't take itself seriously, and that's why everything works so well. But you need to at some point accept what you're looking at.
I don't know what that means.
It doesn't. I didn't have a great feeling in that moment, but it got past all that, and then the rest of it was good too.
So the scene where you saw all those skeletons and bodies of all the failed, procreations.
But that
didn't bother you.
No, because that's exactly what you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to go,
okay.
Oh, I really don't like this character because of what happened. You're not supposed to dislike Yondu.
Yeah, but let me throw this out here. Isn't Yondu just taking revenge for all the people they shoved out in airlock that you saw? Like,
I guess that's the excuse as to why it's acceptable. I felt like it was too gratuitous. That's all it is. I mean, when I think about it too much, I feel the same thing about the Uncharted games. It's just like, Nathan's just like, I hate murdering people, as like 18 bodies fall off a cliff because you just shot all of them. Like,
what about Nico and Grand Theft Auto 4?
I
gotta stop doing this.
Yeah. I'm not a violent man.
Like, I don't want to kill anybody, so let me go to this town hall and like pull an Uzi out.
So, Karrie, I hope you've seen Volume 2, because if you haven't, we've just...
It's over. I'm spoiled.
Yeah, we just spoiled it all.
Well, yeah, at least once.
It's weird that they all died at the end. Like, I can't believe it. Like,
yeah,
it's really gonna make it's really gonna make Infinity Ward weird.
And Jeff Goldblum killed him. That's the weirdest part.
No, I've seen it, so no worries there. I was I'm trying to think if I have remembered the exact scene you're talking about. I do seem to remember a scene where Yondu is killing a bunch of people. He's like the guy with the arrow.
Fin.
Yeah, the fin, and I'm just like, I feel like that arrow is just like a very scary power to me. He's basically invincible with that thing. It's just so fast.
It's too overpowered.
It's a little bit overpowered, and it's also very violent, right? Because it's just an arrow that he just shoots through people's heads or whatever. So I remember, like, every time he starts doing that, I'm like half fascinated, half frightened, because I'm like, that's a cool power. Also really scary. So I with you there, kind of, with assessment.
But I mean, there were plenty of jokes that I legit laughed at. There were plenty of scenes where I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to more of that. But I'm slowly catching up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I still haven't even seen Ant-Man. I'm way behind.
I thought you had seen that already.
No, I mean, I saw Civil War, so I'm kind of like, there's some holes in what I've seen, but like, I haven't seen Thor. You haven't seen
holes either?
The next thing he's going to catch up on is the Shia LaBeouf filmography.
Okay, Even Stevens. Okay, it's a character named Beans.
Just let it go.
Okay, I'll stop.
Let it go.
I'll just at this stage, I'm pretty much just waiting for everything to come to video. I'm not like, even Infinity War, I'm not like super jazzed about. the idea. Like, Black
how about-
Panther's on its way, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It looks good. They all look
I'm
good.
beyond
but
jazzed.
Yo, Black Panther's gonna be great.
I'm just not.
Very
I'm just
excited.
not all that jazzed about going to the movie theater lately.
You don't like people, is what I just heard.
Well,
You should get movie
I didn't
pass.
have to say it. So
Or maybe not. I don't know.
So
anyway, that's fine. Aaron, what have you been watching and doing and stuff?
I'll be brief here. The wife and I finished up Stranger Things. Wow, that there were credits at the end of that thing.
can you believe they killed all the kids too? It was weird.
All of
Like,
them, you know.
And at the last moment too, right?
and the
You thought
Guardian
they were
showed up
gonna live.
and died too. Like weird.
And then
What
they
is
found
weird-
an Infinity Stone.
Right. And that explains where the last Infinity Stone is, because we still have, like, it has to show up in Black Panther or like the beginning of Infinity War. So
And the spaceships make sound with. Anyway, no, I really dug it. And then it kind of, after it was over, the next thing that it pops up on Netflix is, hey, watch Beyond Stranger Things, which is an interview series with the creators, the directors. There's the Duffer Brothers, and then the guy who directed some of the episodes, forgot his name, and then just certain handful of the cast. And it is so awkward. Has anybody seen this?
No.
Like,
'cause I don't watch any of these.
I mean, we only watched it because none of us, we didn't feel like reaching for the remote. Like, I guess we're looking at this now. So here we are.
Just let it autoplay. It's fine.
Yeah. We watched only, I think, 2 or 3 of them. I think there's 7.
Well, 7? I thought it was going to be like one.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
addendum.
too. It's like its own thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was almost
because
like
you
it was
get-
supposed to be paired to episodes.
Yeah, you get more information about it, but just some of like the awkwardness between, like, one of the Duffer Brothers is an interesting guy. He's a little quirky, which is okay. It's a little awkward. Like, wow, that seemed a little a little aggressive.
So I'm going to skip these episodes. I gotcha.
So
Did they interview the head of Eggo Waffles?
Not yet, but hopefully they're building up to it.
He's the final boss.
Oh, and that iOS game they made, is he the final boss in that? Is that what you're saying?
His name is Mr. Eggo.
That makes sense.
The next show I also just caught up on the other night.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery.
Man, that show's good.
It is so good. Anybody
Is it?
else watching it? Mike, Karrie, Star Trek.
Nope.
No, I don't pay for that stuff.
I'm not buying
I
that
think
stuff.
I think the first half of the first up to the mid-season finale is now on Amazon, I want to say.
I
Oh,
heard
really?
something like that.
That's what I heard, yes.
If everything comes that like something I already pay for, I'll definitely at least put it on my list.
Mike, if you really want to see it, it can be arranged. I mean, just
Yeah,
put it
like-
that way.
I'm not. I mean, there are so many things that I need to watch. Like this is not even in the top like 20.
He's got to watch Young Sheldon. He's got to watch.
Okay,
gotta
maybe
catch up
you
on
didn't
Big
hear
Bang
me
Theory.
wink. It can be arranged.
Oh, I'm sorry. How much noise does your eyelid make?
You hear it now?
Anyway,
Hey, I just paid 50 cents to Amazon to rent Ant-Man because they're doing that right now.
Hey, good
So I
choice.
need to watch that.
How is it 50 cents?
It's like
do you have
so
to buy
Voodoo-
2 movies to let
No,
the credit
Voodoo
card get
is
shot?
doing a sale for 50-cent rentals, and Amazon just matched like everything they were doing. So there's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 movies that they're renting for 50 cents right now.
It's an add-on if you buy 10 gallons of vegetable oil. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, Ant-Man's a great one.
Yeah, it was good.
One of my favorite superhero shows up in that one. So everyone calls him useless.
My favorite character is designated as useless.
No one, I don't. My coworkers talk a lot of stuff on Falcon, and I like Falcon. I think he's a good character. Like he's like a cooler Hawkeye. So, like the normal guy of the group.
Less purple, but we'll accept it. It's fine.
Oh yeah, no, totally less purple. But like, Falcon hangs with people that legitimately have superpowers. Like when you see the end of Civil War, and it's like, hey, here's Scarlet Witch and Vision, and Falcon and War Machine. You're like, cool.
Like I got
Like that guy's much
Heck.
braver than the rest of them.
Well, I think Hawkeye pretty much in the second Avengers was pretty much laid it out. Like, why am I here? Like,
that's partially a Hawkeye movie where he gives the speech to Scarlet.
I have a bow and arrow here. What am I doing?
I could just go home and retire, you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Star Trek Discovery is great. Like,
no, it is.
How far are you into this?
I'm fully caught up.
So
it's getting crazy.
So I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say like the mid-season kicked off with Mirror Mirror, which from Star Trek standpoint is like, oh, we went to the evil universe.
Yes, they did.
Where everyone wears goatees, because that's how you know they're evil. But like,
I was once accused of being evil, Mike.
Right. So like they're just dealing with all of that right now.
That's a lot to deal with. I'm just going to be honest.
So like, is this like in the middle of a season, or is it done for the season?
The first season had a story arc that had some conclusion, but there's an overall story arc for the full season 1, which is the first half plus this whatever this run is for.
Okay.
So like I believe it's like the first 10 episodes are up on Amazon right now, which is everything up to when they enter this universe. They enter the alternate.
Is this like a standard 22 episode season?
I have no idea.
I hope so.
I'd like it to be. It's quite good.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And
we'll
then I rewatched the Monster Squad, which I had not seen in many, many years.
Oh, Wolfman's got
nards. There are parts of the movie that clearly do not hold up in terms of some of the language used, that you could not use that anymore. Outside of that, it holds up okay. It's also like less than 90 minutes. It's an incredibly short movie. I don't remember being that short. It's like it gets going and it's like, oh, it's over. Like, wow, okay, everybody.
Yeah, they don't want to like lose the attention span of smaller kids.
And then because I've watched too many of those Everything Wrong With things on YouTube, if you all seen those before, Everything Wrong With X movie, yada, yada.
Sure, yeah.
You're just like, how did they all just happen to meet up at this spot? Like, what prompted any of this to happen?
Yeah, at the climax of the movie.
Yeah, it's like, why are they all here together? Yeah. And it's directed by Shane Black, if memory serves.
So it takes place at Christmas.
No, but it was significantly better than Iron Man.
Not actually directed by Shane Black then. All Shane Black movies must take place at Christmas.
No, he must have. I think he wrote it or something. I don't know, but it exists. And apparently, there's supposed to be a reboot that it kind of died on the table.
Probably should. You're better off. Like that's a movie you're better off just leaving it as is. Just don't try to go back to it.
Same
don't
with
make
Labryinth.
A sequel. Don't reboot it.
Stop it.
Labyrinth is another one. Just leave it alone. It's fine. Let it stand.
Who are you going to put in to be like the Goblin King in a remake of Labyrinth? Like who would that be? It just
Bruno Mars.
No. And I like some of his music too, but no, that's not going to work.
But I've heard. I feel like I heard not too long ago they're going to do like a sequel to Dark Crystal, and I'm like, how? What are you even going to put on the screen? Because the only thing about Dark Crystal that like really holds up is its place in time.
Yeah.
Like we're not bringing the Muppets back out for another movie. Like this ain't happening. If you actually put that in the theater, people would their jaw would drop and then they would walk away.
Didn't they literally just bring a Muppet out for another movie we were just talking about?
That's all of the characters are not Muppets. This is a Muppet movie without the name Muppets.
That last Muppet movie was very underrated. Muppets Most Wanted was hilarious, and nobody saw it. It's a shame because it was quite fun.
You know what you're expecting. Like you can't bring those crazy bird creatures out and call it Dark Crystal 2 and have people be happy. It ain't happening.
No.
So when I tell you I've never seen this movie, you guys are gonna.
What, Dark Crystal?
You know what we're talking about, though, right?
I'm aware of what you're talking about.
Dark Crystal is also a 50-cent rental on Amazon right now.
So Karrie, what you're Tiny, have at it. Karrie, have you seen Dark Crystal?
Nope.
You can now for 50 cents.
It is a product of its age.
Did we get a sponsorship from Amazon that I'm not aware of? Just checking.
I'm very excited by this 50-cent rental. Like, I actually just pulled up Amazon to look at it right now.
I never liked the idea of renting digital stuff because is it 24 hours to watch it? I don't like that.
So they give you,
I think 2 weeks and then
3 days now. Like you have a month to start it, and then once you do, I think you have 36 or No, you have more than 48 hours. It's either 72 or it's something in between 2 and 3 days to finish watching it. But you have 30 days to start it once you rent.
I mean, it's no different than if you did.
Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah. I got burned the way it used to be. It was like you have a day to start it, and it's like I don't. Too many rules. Don't feed it after midnight. Don't get it wet. Like, come on, give it a break.
Don't give it a bath.
Are we confusing things? What about this last show?
I need to watch Black Lightning. I have not.
Oh, we're not going to talk about it.
I wish I had done this thing that I put on the outline.
Yeah. In fact, I was coming back from taking the youngest from dance class, and NPR had an interview with the showrunner. I was like, I really need to watch this show. So, yeah. I'm assuming you've seen it. It's quite good.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jeffrey Pierce. Like, it's interesting because they're telling it as Black Lightning had a superhero career and then stopped, and is now kind of being dragged back into that life kind of deal. So like
in an Al Pacino Godfather 3 kind of way, or a good way?
Like in a good way, but like, so that's also how they can introduce. He has 2 daughters. Like this is all in the comics. There's like 30 years old, so like they get powers eventually and that kind of stuff. So like they can have more than just him with powers, because it's not in the same universe that the Flash and like Green Arrow or any of the other
I did hear
CW shows are in.
But it's also on CW, right?
Correct. But so here's the weird thing. Flash and Arrow in the same universe. Then Supergirl is in a different universe, but once a year they cross over for the fun of it.
Does the Flash also just like reach through time and space and talk?
That's actually how he got into Supergirl's universe the first time.
Okay. All right. Well, at least it's consistently stupid.
And then there's another show, Legends of Tomorrow, who travels through time and space. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like a Rick and Morty kind of thing.
Yeah, the atom gets really, really small.
Yeah, and the Atom is played by Superman.
Brandon
Roth. So.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
That's amusing.
By the time we get to like the end of the superhero stuff, all actors will have played someone in one of these universes, and probably multiple people.
You know what? Maybe they can do like what Ninja Turtles did, and they can just have like a crossover of all the generations of Turtles, and just have like, well, they can't have Adam West show up, unfortunately, but just have Michael Keaton and like
Power Rangers did it in a really weird way.
George Clooney like shaking hands with like Joel Schumacher, and like, I don't know why we did this, but we're here.
Val Kilmer fist fighting Christian Bale.
We'll see. There's another there's another Marvel show that comes onto ABC, Freeform, which used to be ABC Family's Cloak and Dagger. That starts up in June, I want to say.
That is a show. Yes, I've heard that.
And then The Runaways on Hulu, and like, maybe at some point this is all going to get a little oversaturated. Or maybe
people get mad when you say that stuff, but they won't be making $200 million comic movies forever. Like, it's
this wave will never crash.
Like, people really think that, and they get offended. How could you say that?
It's already lasted longer than I expected it to.
That's true. That is a good point.
This wave will never crash. So, weird to call it a wave then.
Morning, my fellas. This is Joe Vaughn from New York. Just finished listening to the last podcast. But more or less, it was good time. I guess y'all did it live and everything like that, which is dope. So I'm calling, man, because I am finally a part of the whole Nintendo Switch family. Happy to be a part of it. And yeah, like I said before, man, I'm with Tiny. I don't know about the walking simulators games. I'm not really much into that, but to each his own. So yeah, outside of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I've been bouncing around playing different games, or whatever. And I'm lucky enough where I don't have to buy the games. My local library has they're overloaded with Switch games, so I can just borrow them. But anyway, I did have a question, and it was in reference to a game that is confirmed for PlayStation, Ni no Kuni 2. It's made by Level 5, and I was speaking to someone, and they told me that the original Ni no Kuni, although it was on PlayStation, it also came out on the DS, I think. So I'm just curious, Do you guys think that Ni no Kuni 2 could come out on a Switch? And if so, is that something that you care about? I'm pretty excited about Ni no Kuni 2. I mean, I got my PS4, but honestly speaking, since I got the Switch, I haven't really touched it. All right, fellas, keep up the good work. Tiny, you was right. Zelda Breath of the Wild, #1. All right.
All right. Thank you for calling in, leaving the voicemail, Javon. Don't tell Tiny he's right. It'll go right to his head, and then you'll never be able to shut him up. So that's always a bad thing. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? I'm just going to throw out a correction. I enjoy games that we refer to as walking simulators. I'm just saying.
I was going to ask.
They weren't better than Breath of the Wild last year. That's all. Like, #1 game of the year, Breath of the Wild. But anyway.
Yeah. Well,
so I had to look this up. Apparently, Ni no Kuni showed up on the DS originally, and the PlayStation 3 game was actually an enhanced version of that.
I did not know that. I thought it was just
I did not know that at all, but I'm looking at it. So
it was only released in Japan.
In Japan, right.
So the Minion of the Dark Jin was on DS, and then Ni no Kuni comes out on PS3. Then I think gets a re-release on PS4. It's published by Namco Bandai, so
So I guess to answer his question, the sequel is not coming to the DS. I'm assuming, or the Switch.
It is only announced for PS4 right now, I believe.
Yeah, his question was, do we think it'll come to the Switch?
Right.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Good point. Shocked.
Which is why
I don't expect it.
Yeah, I mean, Namco is publishing it. Why wouldn't they?
I mean, unless Sony gave them money or tied up a lifetime exclusive, why leave money on the table? But
well, the only other possibility is if they don't feel like the hardware can handle it, and there's no reason to believe that right now.
Or maybe there is.
Oh, actually, it isn't
like Monster Hunter, like the last Monster Hunter. Didn't they say we don't really feel like the Switch could handle this game?
Yeah, the one that comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, Take-Two didn't say that about WWE 2K18. We saw how well that worked out.
Maybe people should say that. Just wait.
Export to Switch. Oh, well, we could still charge money for this.
I don't know if it's been updated or not, but the stuff I saw was they should not have released that game at all. I mean, it did not it just didn't run. Anyway, Karrie, are you a fan of Ni no Kuni?
I actually for some reason this whole series just missed my my window for some reason. So I think I actually didn't hear about this series until they announced Ni no Kuni 2 at an E3 or PSX a few years ago. And I just remember they started playing this trailer, and it's super beautiful. It's like a Ghibli movie. And I was like, what is this? I've never seen this before. So I'm very curious. Is it a straight up RPG? Oh, I guess it is.
Yep.
I haven't played RPGs in a while. I think I've become old and impatient, and so
I don't mess with them much either.
Right? It's so much story. It's a lot of cutscenes. I just want to play games. So I guess I'm gravitating maybe more towards action games now, where it's I can't be bothered to read. If I want to read, I'm going to read a book. So one thing I was going to say about the cross-platform thing is that it's coming out for PS4 and PC on Steam, right? So that makes me think it's a timed exclusive. So you're right, it's either a hardware issue of we don't know if the Switch is going to be able to do it, or it's a timed exclusive that they paid for. Right. Although I guess the fact that it's also coming out on Steam is weird. If they were cool with that, I'm not sure how to read that. I think the fact that it is coming out on Steam is amazing. I think Japan is finally embracing PC and Steam, and that's the best possible thing.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah, I'm super happy about that.
I don't think Studio Ghibli is involved in the new game, though. Only I know they're
really.
No, they when they announced it, they were not part of the announcement. So.
Wow. Okay.
I played the first one. Well,
and I mean
P3.
that would be the biggest drawback. Well, not the biggest, but so if you think about a space issue though, Switch is notorious for having they push back the larger cartridge, and Ni no Kuni had a bunch of FMV that would take up a lot of space on that cartridge. Okay. So either they do the WWE solution, or they try to alter the game to reduce some of that overhead because that's going to be a huge chunk of their data storage space.
Remove all the story and keep the the battles. That's it.
That whole game sat on its story, like, because there's like a Pokemon element to it, like you're collecting monsters and like you're a kid with a storybook whose mom dies at the beginning. It's super sad. Like it's like Up kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Up kind of got to the point. Like I think I watched Spirited Away for like the.
Whoa! I'm pretty sure mom dies within like the first 20 minutes of this movie after you almost drown.
I'm
I called it a movie. This game.
Even though I don't like RPGs, I did play Kuni on PS3, and then after about 2 hours, I was like, "This is so slow. I can't do this anymore." Yeah. I went and I stopped playing it and went to go watch paint dry, and I was kind of happy with the choice that I made.
And that guy's accent. That guy's accent is so Scottish. No.
Oh, the guy with the drippy with the lantern on his nose.
Chick. So I mean, I'd love everything to come to the Switch. So yes, but there's nothing to point through a definitive there.
I feel like even though you're welcome to your opinion, I would like to state I would like anything to come to the Switch that the Switch can actually handle. Because I'm not keen. Like even Overcooked, I found to be kind of disappointing in how well that game ran on the Switch. Having played it on the Xbox, and that's way more fluid.
Yeah, it's not a great experience.
And that sucks because that is not an intensive kind of game.
Time out on the flag on the field.
But Tumblestone, let me tell you.
Is it not? But is it not that great because you have played another version that you feel is superior? Like, is it the PUBG discussion again? Like, there are people enjoying the heck out of PUBG on Xbox One right now.
But he can't.
But anyone who's played
can't
the PC
remove that
version,
knowledge from his brain and play it in a vacuum.
But there's a difference between a bad game and a game that is just not as optimized as another.
But that's the problem, though.
Like that is something that I think can be recognized even as someone who has played both.
I mean, I think the issue with Overcooked on Switch was it was a straight up performance issue, right? So it's not like, hey, it doesn't play as well as it does on PC. It's like this game just isn't. There's like stutters or whatever the problem was. Again, I played it on PC. But honestly, if your game is unplayable because they're stuttering or the controls are laggy or whatever the issue actually was, frame rate issue, whatever, that's straight up performance and that's optimization. And I believe that's a problem with the porting, whoever did the port for it, because the Switch should be able to handle that game, right?
I would have thought, yes, I would have thought it would have played just as well on the Switch as it does on Xbox. Because it's not a graphically intensive game. It's not like... Sure, there's lots of moving parts on the screen, but nothing that it shouldn't be able to handle.
I knew something was wrong when we were yelling at the Switch, not each other, while playing Overcooked. That's when I knew there was a problem.
I was gonna say we played that game for like close to 2 hours on the Switch.
We did, and I felt like that was enough for me to feel like I'm not mistaken. There are things here that are not performing as well as when I have played this before.
Did you try smearing mayonnaise on the screen? Because that works.
No, just on the controller.
Oh, well, that's just common sense.
Great. So Ni no Kuni.
I will point out I use my controller.
Ni no Kuni Overcooked. There we go.
Right.
DLC.
So, I mean, hopefully. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I agree with Mike. I would like games to work well. But
not just exist on a platform, so it can be said that they exist.
Well, yeah, again, it's a different. It's just a question of the level of what you're willing to accept.
Yeah, and if like anything that's on the Switch, if it performs as it should, it's the ideal platform because you can play it the same as any other console, or you can pick it up and bring it somewhere very easily and have that same experience, whether it be handheld or easily ported to somebody's house. Like the Switch travels better than any other TV console game system.
Like a basketball game, a rooftop barbecue. I mean,
sure, bring it to a party and ignore everybody that's there.
Exactly, that's social.
That's the way to do it. This is how we live our lives.
Ready for the next voicemail?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Keon's voicemail. So,
hey, what's up, GameEnthus? I hope you guys are doing well. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, Tiny? And how you feeling, Aaron? This is Keon calling from Baltimore. I just wanted to ask you guys, and I do know for a fact that you guys have brought up some of your collections, your gaming collections, on the show. I was just curious to know, what are the retro consoles that you guys own, and is there, since I'm kind of new into actually this collecting phase that I'm going through, getting all of these old systems, what would be some of the games you would recommend to get for some of these systems for a person that is starting out on this collector's spree? I mean, I'm in the know for the most part, but there may be some people out there that may not know. I just wanted to get you guys' expertise on this, and as always, Aaron, Mike, and Tiny, I truly appreciate the hard work that you guys do week in and week out. And also, Aaron, I appreciate all of your YouTube videos. I know you put a lot of hard work into those, and it's appreciated. So just wanted to say that. And with that being said, you guys take care. And really on a quick side note, please do not, I hope you guys did not get offended by me saying that the podcast was 4 hours. It was really amazing. It took a lot of stamina to pull something like that off. So it was not to be offensive, and as a listener, I really, really appreciated it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, and I'm talking way too much, so you guys take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for calling in, leaving a voicemail, Keon. Thank you for the support. YouTube videos, I get a whole lot of love, so any views and comments I get, I certainly do appreciate them. Before I turn it over and ask our guests first, I just want to say, if you're getting into collecting, just be careful. It can be a slippery slope.
I'll throw one other thing in. We don't 4-hour podcast, not the norm. We're not. That was game of the year.
It's actually like 5.5, but yeah,
like,
it was a lot.
That was game of the year, and also way too many people. So I like a smaller podcast. That's all. My opinion is well known, so that's fine. Anyway, Aaron, please.
Karrie, do you do any retro collecting of any type? And if so, what systems do you collect for?
Not purposefully. I'm kind of
GameEnthus, you know. So I'm.
This is unintentional.
Oh, sorry. I muted. This worked early. I was going to make sure that it wasn't the same voicemail. So.
Is it the same?
I have no idea because I only heard the same 6 seconds you did. So I thought.
We'll find out. We'll find out. Sorry, Karrie, go ahead.
No problem. I was just gonna say I'm not a collector. I feel like I'm the person you collectors like because I actually get rid of all my stuff. I'm kind of decluttering right now. I do still have my old systems that I just keep out of like nostalgia and stuff, but I don't actually buy anything new for them at all.
Gasp.
But you have some tasty cartridges that you would like to sell at a discounted price?
Yes, they're in pristine condition. They're from a smoke-free, pet-free home.
Oh, wonderful. Do you have a box
wow.
copy of Metal Warriors that you'd like to sell for about $45?
No, but I feel like I should run my collection by you so you can tell me if anything I have is valuable.
Please do, and we'll be completely honest with you.
Just present your list. We will evaluate it.
Stadium events, that's a paperweight, you know. Well, it kind of is. Anyway, but so what systems do you still own? I guess that's a question.
It is hidden deep in my parents' attic or whatever, but we must have regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, Game Boy Advance, a lot of the original cartridges too. I'm sure hopefully the original like Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger, those games.
So pretty standard systems. Nothing like really off the wall, like a sealed copy of. Or something insane.
Did something just happen?
No,
I didn't hear anything for like the last 10 seconds. It just blanked out.
I could hear you.
Oh,
yeah, we could hear you.
Yeah, I heard everything cool.
I heard nothing. I heard you were talking about stuff in the systems. You were counting those down. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything like sealed or unusual. I guess the one I'm personally very proud of that I still have is I remember my dad. This was around SNES era. My dad went to Taiwan and came back and just brought us this this total game copying system. So it was called Gamars, I believe, like gamers with the 2 A's. And they would, if you plugged a game like a cartridge into it, it would copy it to the smaller floppy disks.
Oh, okay. What's the Super Nintendo
floppies,
one?
right?
Yeah, multiple floppies, and he also brought back this like unlabeled collection of just games, and so I just got to like put in a game and see what it was, and half the time it was in Japanese.
Sure.
So I played just a bunch of just strange games that way. And that to me, like, that was my childhood. I was like a pirate before I even knew what it was. But, you know, family's Taiwanese, that's like in our blood to just pirate everything, I guess. But so that's like a personal like thing that I really like. I don't know. I don't imagine it has any value in the collectors community, but I still have that.
Not especially, but I tell you, there was nothing crazier than having like a copy of, say, Final Fantasy III for the SNES on like 12 floppy disks that took like 30 minutes to load just to get into the game.
Right? But that's how you got it back then. Like, it was an emulator before emulators existed. And so that was like, it was the best thing you could ever imagine. You could rent the games from Blockbuster and copy them and just have them forever. Yeah. So we were like way ahead of the curve.
Some of the later cartridges actually had copy protection to like detect this stuff. I recall trying to play R-Type 3 on the SNES with a very similar floppy drive system. And it was just like, you're playing a bootleg version. We will not run this game for you on this system.
No.
I was like, wow. Yeah. Dennis Nedry was waving his finger at me.
We've got Dotson. Wow. Yeah, I'd like to see a picture of this Gamers thing. I don't think I've ever. And
I mean, there's a number of
for the NES.
Yeah. SNES.
Okay,
I'll see if I can find an image.
Metal Jesus had a video on it, Aaron.
Okay, I've seen it.
And there's a number of companies that put these things out. Like this isn't like a single unit kind of thing.
I did not know those things existed when they were current. This would have blown my mind. I found out about these things maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
or somewhere around there. I didn't know they existed growing up. No clue.
They were not cheap, and they were not easily acquired in the U.S. anyway. Oh yeah, yep. That looks very familiar.
Right, so you take that unit. There's like a little thing at the bottom that you just sit right on top of the Super Nintendo, like where the cartridge goes in, and then that darker gray flap is where you'd actually put the real cartridge, and then that disc is where you put in the discs to copy.
Sure. And they always, every one of them had a like memory limit, so it depended on the size of the cartridge, and that limited your ability to what you could copy. Like the really late, like say Street Fighter Alpha 2 on the SNES, a lot of those things couldn't handle it at all. I mean, not to mention the chips, like FX chips games and stuff, they would just be like, nah, I can't. Nah.
So.
Yeah, but it's amazing to think about this, because if you look at that, that's like something people had to manufacture, and distribute and create, and that's like what it took back then. Like, that's kind of amazing. Whereas now it's just like, we'll just like break the code and put it online, and you can just it's much easier now.
I mean, that kind of a thing is literally a piece of history. Like it is a more of a curiosity piece than a something that you would use in a functional sense these days.
Well, what are they worth though? I'm curious.
Really not that much.
Oh.
I mean, a little bit depending on like this particular one. I couldn't tell you, but I saw a PC Engine copier of a very similar type that somebody was trying to get like hundreds of dollars for, and people are just like, nah, dude, I can get an EverDrive and just plug it in and not deal with this stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. I see that as a difference for a lot of reasons. Also, one, because of your weird TurboGrafx, like.
Well, stuff. I mean, but the point being is the use of this, the novelty of it. It's all about you're buying it because you want to own a piece of history, not because you're going to actually use it for what it was intended for.
No, I actually want to take a half an hour to play Final Fantasy III. Well, I'm being told otherwise.
But I mean, time out. Like the half an hour and whatnot also comes down to a lot of these had memory expansion slots on them. So like you just pop in another stick of RAM, and in theory, is you just now would get the highest stick of RAM that works on that volume. So like,
well, you can, but you still need a number of disks to hold the entirety of the cartridge.
Yeah,
right?
Even if it can't load up.
Right, but it's like it. I mean, you do that now. Like SD RAM was probably what it was running on at that point. So like,
that's why you just get an EverDrive and don't worry about it if you want to play.
I want to play on my actual hardware with my actual games on a floppy disk. I have no idea. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's like,
no, it's cool. It's definitely a cool thing. But it's very difficult to argue the reason why you would actually physically use it today.
Gotcha.
All right, so we want to run down.
So Karrie was pirating a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
got that. Cops are coming right now. So
Well, I'll mail you a peg leg and an eye patch.
Thank you.
The pirate you'll have the parrot you'll have to come up with yourself, because I don't want to kill a parrot in the mail. That would be kind of cruel.
Just a little bit.
took that there, yeah.
I'm sorry, hook hand will include that too.
So Mike, what? I know you have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean I do like percentage of the looking strictly at U.S. collection only. Like TurboGrafx is definitely the highest percentage of the entire collection that I own. As far as like what percentage of the entire library that exists, what do I own? That's probably the highest. Second best, I'm sure, is Dreamcast, because I have a lot of Dreamcast games, but I just haven't played any of them in over a decade. Like I don't bust that out. But yeah, I will say one thing. The part where Keon's asking about like a recommendation, In the Hunt is one that I discovered kind of recently. It's available for the PlayStation 1 and the Saturn. It's, from what I have been able to, I was told, I'll put it that way, I was told that it was made by the same, or at least some of the same guys that did Metal Slug.
Oh, yeah,
and it looks just like Metal Slug, but a submarine underwater.
Yeah.
And it's a cool little game. It's not outrageously expensive, but it's not cheap either.
I've seen it in the wild. There's a place I stopped at in Jersey that they have it for the Saturn.
Okay.
I acquired my own copy that runs just fine
Oh,
for the Saturn.
What? Legitimate copy?
No, that's why he said it that way.
Oh, excuse me.
That's why I said acquired.
I'm sorry. My monocle just fell into my lobster bisque.
Is that what that sound was? Okay. Yeah. It's also if you don't care about emulation, there's an IREM there's like a collection of, you can get it digitally really cheap too, so it's not, I don't know, but you can say that for anything, I guess. But Saturn stuff is ridiculously priced.
Wait, you're saying In the Hunt is on a collection?
Yeah, I have it.
For what system?
I got it on on Amazon. They had like some IREM bundle kind of thing
For PC.
Yeah, I grabbed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also do have a copy for my Saturn as well.
Right, you have a backup copy.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. But In the Hunt is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really good game.
Get better at this.
There we go.
So,
Tiny, what
I
do you
mean,
want to talk about?
if we're gonna, I'm gonna skip to the end of Keon's question. At some point, you're gonna realize you don't actually need to collect everything, and you're just gonna buy the things you want and get there as quick as possible.
Yep.
Because there's no reason that I have like 90% of an N64 collection.
You have 90? Wow.
I have about 90%.
It's like a disease. That's basically how you should,
I don't need this many sports games in my life.
No.
Or wrestling games. And I also don't need to start looking at box games.
You also don't need Mike telling you to get Saturn games. Saturn games are the most expensive games to get.
I mean, yes. Yeah. The other thing, though, is like at some point you might want to move. When I moved to Canada, I had, I think, every box of every PC game I'd ever owned, and I have a CD disc of about 1,000 games. And I threw away every one of those boxes.
Wow.
You know, and like that was dumb. I should have found some place to put but I don't know. I was moving. I was figuring I was gonna go make video games. I wasn't gonna be here anymore.
Just burn it all.
Like yeah. So I feel like at some point like you just have to be like, no, I can throw all this stuff away. Like I don't keep the stuff you want and otherwise get rid of the rest of it. Like and that's the important. Like you get to that point.
Or if you have the time, put it on eBay.
Yeah, like I sold Guardian Heroes and whatnot a couple weeks ago for a great amount of money.
I have that game as well.
So I had an original copy.
A silver copy.
Yeah, I had an original copy. But yeah, like get past that. Like if I really want to go over everything, it's easier to be like, oh, I don't own an Odyssey in my life right now.
Oh.
I don't own
a single system that was produced prior to the NES at this stage. Wait a minute, no, I still have a TI 99 4A. Other than that, I don't necessarily.
I have an Atari 2600 Junior, which doesn't work.
So yeah,
well then just throw it away.
No,
get to it's easy to fix.
What are you gonna do with the system that doesn't get it fixed or get rid of it?
It's sitting on my shelf. I like looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
All right,
I might be touching it.
If that brings you joy, then that's amazing.
But again,
tell me what to do.
Get past this. Get to the point where you're just buying the games you want.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it'd be so much better. Like
because I went from doing NES, SNES, Game Gear. Now I'm just like whittling down a couple of things. I still want an N64 and the Master System, and I'm getting close to the end for those as well. So that's a good thing.
I'm still on a hunt for finding a copy of Thor for the DS for under $5, and if I ever find that,
just to thwart me, huh?
I will tell you all about how I got a better deal. But I don't think so. I think you got an amazing deal at $5. That was better than I have seen by far.
It was my major, so.
Wait, okay, I'm gonna see all of this, and now I'm gonna throw a flag on the field. Really, is that the best deal you saw?
No. For the copy of Thor.
Oh, okay.
I cannot find it for cheaper than that.
$5 complete in box.
Like I think GameStop technically has it for like $4.99, but they're like, yeah, 3 stores in the country have it, and it's loose.
Yep. You have to go to Alaska. So
right.
So yeah,
I did see it when I was in Alaska.
Let's do the last voicemail, and then we can get to games we can play real quick. So.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? GameEnthus, you know. So I'm calling. Another call. This is the second one I'm doing this week. So as I said before, I'm on that Nintendo Switch now. You know, on the Nintendo Switch bandwagon. Now, back when I just had the PS4 or whatever, there's this one particular game that came over from the PC that everybody was like screaming and yelling for. It was supposed to come over to the PS Vita. And this game is called Stardew Valley. Now, I've been playing mainly Zelda Breath of the Wild, but for whatever reason, I wanted to give something else a try, something more 16-bit-ish, whatever. And I said, you know, why not go with Stardew Valley? You know, get something a little more relaxed, do some farming, grow some vegetables, sell them, whatever. Now, I kind of feel like I might be crazy because, I mean, I've only had the game for like a day now, but I'm not loving it as much as everybody seems to have loved it when it came out now. Or I mean, it seems like people are still in love with it and stuff, but am I crazy? I mean, it's very colorful. The music sounds great. I like the fact that I could create a character. That's one of the big things I love about games, but I don't know. It's not grabbing me. And again, I've only had it for one day, but I kind of feel like this is a game I might bounce off of, and I kind of feel tight. Like, maybe I'm crazy? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like this is a confessional.
Good? Am I crazy? Am I good?
No.
That is asking the same question so many times. And
He's
I can
really
tell you,
conflicted.
I can tell you straight off the bat, Javon, you are not crazy.
Nope.
That's not to say that
like
that's a bad game, but
like
if it doesn't grab you, that doesn't mean you're crazy.
No,
right, like,
not at all.
It means you're not interested in that type of game, and
Now,
that's totally fine.
I will also say I think Stardew Valley takes more than a day, like, to get into.
And there's also a lot more systems than just the plant stuff. It's like
Right, like
there's the social stuff to it, and there's a lot of other things which may or may not appeal.
But and that's totally fair. But if we start getting into that territory where they say, oh, it gets good after like the 20th hour.
No, I'm not going to tell anybody that.
If it takes more than a full day of playing the game, then maybe it's just not for you, and that's fine. Just move on to something that's better for yourself.
Sell it back while you can. I mean, try to get as much money.
Get your digital copy.
Switch is a digital copy.
Oh, that is right. Karrie, do you play Stardew Valley, or have you played it?
I have played it. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of like empathize with this guy because there's a lot of games that I'll go back and play and just won't enjoy them, and I will work really hard to kind of understand and pick through why I don't enjoy them. Like, my first question for this guy is like, do you even like these types of simulation games? Like, do you play Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing, right? And it's like, if you don't, then like, you're not going to like this type of game. I value people who make recommendations based off of, well, what do you actually like? Not just like, hey, you should just play this game. It's great for everybody. Like, no game's really like that.
I love Call of Duty, so should I play Stardew Valley?
Right?
Well, it's a game.
It's a game that's popular that people like, but, it's not for everybody. So I enjoyed it for sure, but I play those types of games.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, Javon, because you mentioned like 16-bit, I might recommend like Shovel Knight, and there's plenty of content in Shovel Knight now, plenty more. I mean, you have the Shovel Knight campaign, you have Spectre Knight, you have Plague Knight stuff in there. What else?
If you want to go with Pixel,
Spectre of Torment. That was on my
top 10 of the year. Mr. Shifty, that's another good one.
Battle
Also,
Chef
that's
Brigade.
also published by a certain publisher who. Steamworld Dig is really good. The Mummy Demastered has some issues, but it's still a good Metroidvania if you like those.
Actually, Steamworld Dig was a game that I thought I should have liked and bailed out pretty quickly.
The first one or the second one?
First one.
It's funny, I'm right there with you. And it's only like 4 hours from what I've heard, but I bailed too. The second one, I could not stop playing it. I loved the second one.
What was the difference?
Well, I'll be honest. Well, the fast travel I think was better. You got a lot more abilities. Like, I mean, you start off the game, you can just like jump and like punch. You have like a jetpack, a grappling hook. There's a lot more stuff. And then the other reason I just got out of a 5-day hospital stay, so I was at home. I had a lot of time. And a lot of uninterrupted time, so I just put it in and just would not stop playing it. But I felt it is a better game than the original. There's just more to it, I think.
Yeah, I can feel that. I feel like when I played it, it was a little bit too samey, and that might have just been like, oh, I didn't get deep enough, I didn't get into the other biomes or whatever, but there wasn't enough to do for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. It just, even though it was short, the first one, I bounced off of it as well.
Yeah.
Another one I recommend to him is Blaster Master Zero. That's good too. And they've added a ton of content to it as well. You can play as like Shantae now and some other...
Yeah, but you needed to have gotten that early to get it for free. Now they charge for it.
We're trying to talk him into stuff, Mike. What are you doing now? Right.
I'm just saying, don't
No,
tell
right.
him he can get stuff just because, unless he wants to pay for it now.
Yeah, there is DLC, but the base game is quite good. I don't know if he was a fan of the original Blaster Master for the NES, but it definitely could scratch some of that 16-bit platforming, retro-looking kind of itch if that's what you have. So, there's some suggestions. I don't know.
Yeah. And I can't recommend it because I haven't played it exactly, but I did purchase, and I'm looking forward to playing Never Stop Sneaking.
Yeah, me too.
Very much specifically because I adored Dust and Legion Tale, and anything that guy puts out, I want to take a look at. So I've bought it. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it, but I will do that, and I'll mention it when I have. But I've heard good things as well. So
I wonder if you'll like that game.
It's like
I might not.
I mean, you like Metal Gear Solid, right?
No, it's more the roguelike structure of it that I'm wondering if Mike will like.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a one-stick stealth game.
I'll definitely talk about it once I've had a chance to play it. But at this stage, I'm just Dean Dodrill, whatever his name is,
Noogie.
Considering what he did with Dust, I'm like, this guy has to be some kind of a genius, and I want to see what else he does.
I was going to read these two tweets from Cody. Army of Two on Xbox Games for Gold. None of the online co-op seems to be active, so no co-op with friends online. So Army of Two should be Army of
done.
Two.
I think they shut that down.
So why they? Well, I mean, I guess they gave it away before they shut it down. I hope, right?
No, they shut it down years ago.
And then
I mean, you can play it by yourself. I enjoyed that game just as much playing it by myself as I did as for co-op. I thought both were equally entertaining because with two people, you can both be intelligent folks, figuring out how to attack a group of enemies. But when you're playing by yourself, you can just say, hey, robot, go do what I'm telling you to do, draw the fire, and then I'll take over and do whatever I need to do. But I enjoyed the first Army of Two a lot, but I'm not going back to it. At this stage,
no intention either.
I played a lot of that game, and I'm never going back to the first one.
It was which one was it that was on there? It was the first one?
So the first one is the most recent, but a year or so ago, they put the third one on as a free.
This is the third Army of Two?
Yeah.
What?
So
they turned off those servers in 2011.
So there's Army of Two, and then the second one was the 40th Day, and the third one was called the Devil's Cartel.
You're right.
Sure.
The 40th Day was never a free game on Games with Gold yet.
I had no idea there were three of them.
But I bought it and I tried it and I was like, oh, I don't want to play this game at all. So that was kind of the death knell of the series for me. I just didn't care anymore.
Can you not? Now I want to start this game up. I wonder if you could do a co-op game,
like Tunnel Through Land, fake.
Well, no, like instead of doing because what server
I mean, it's peer to peer. You would think it would just work.
Well, I think it's matchmaking's the issue. Is the servers you turn off, and that's what they probably turned off in 2011.
Sure.
So I wonder if you could.
If you can resurrect the NFL Fever and NBA Inside Drive servers, I wonder if this could work.
Hey, if there's a will, there's always a way. But to be honest, it's not worth the effort.
People that got NBA baller beats out there. We can do this.
Yeah. So. This last one from Cody. BioWare is focusing all its assets on Anthem. That sounds sounds like a rush to fill to me. They did the same thing with SWTOR, Star Wars, whatever. Caused a lot of internal turmoil, strife, and just bad juju. Learn from the past. BioWare. Apparently, they're pushing Anthem into next year. Didn't that just come out? Anthem is going to be pushed into 2019, which I predicted last week.
Not shocking.
Not at all. So. Not at all. I mean,
now a 2019 game, according to a bunch of people.
Yeah. I mean, good. As far as I'm concerned, any game, the longer you take, great. It had more time to bake. I hope it's good now. Games that are rushed are usually the ones where you go, well, it could have been better.
Oh, and then Pat sent a tweet. I can't find it, but he just finished up the Game of the Year episodes, and he was happy that Horizon Zero Dawn got some love because I know I think he streamed the whole game pretty much. So he's a big fan of it. I think he's 40 plus hours in on that one. So,
well, I'm glad we could be with him for a quarter of that game. So,
yeah, I'm joking. I wish I had played more. I think I might need to restart it because when I tried to play it again, I was just confused.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some games we played.
Let's run through these quick.
I guess I don't know. I've been going through a crazy indie phase. So Gorogoa, if any of you guys have played that, is my most recent game.
I wanted to. It looks fun.
It's fascinating. So it's if you guys haven't seen it, it's like a 4-panel comic where you have 4 frames to pull around and zoom in and out of like these comic scenes that animate, and it's a beautiful game. It's kind of like, it's a weird game. It's beyond description, where I think we've seen a lot of games that do this like comic book frame, like, oh, rearrange the panels, make a scene. But this game has a very interesting approach to it, and it's just very beautiful. It's all hand animated. I think it's one developer who worked on it for 5 years, and it's it's a sub 2-hour experience, but there were genuine moments of like, oh wow, like I didn't actually anticipate that as being the answer to the puzzle. So it was a very like different experience for that type of game. So I recommend it, again, if you like puzzle games or those types of like, not environmental experiences, but I kind of think of it as that, where it's environmental storytelling kind of. So that's a game I liked. And then I also, my most recent favorite game, I'm going through my backlog. So Rogue Legacy, actually, older game, but I was surprised that it's a roguelike that actually really held up. I thought with so many roguelikes having like come out since that game came out and improved upon the formula, that I wasn't sure how an older game like that would hold up, but it's fantastic. It's super great.
You play their new game?
No, which one?
Full Metal Furies. I think the developer is Cellar Door Games.
Full Metal Furies. I've heard of it.
It's an Xbox Anywhere game, PC, Xbox One. Very different from Rogue Legacy. I'm glad you're good at it. I cannot get past the first level in Rogue Legacy. I get to the eyeball boss and die. That's all I'm able to do is die.
I'm glad you assumed from my description of it that I was good at it. I did just defeat the second boss, but I'm pretty sure all I'm doing is like leveling up my stats strong enough to bum rush it, like not actually playing it.
But that's how you're supposed to play it. Maybe it's my patience just ran out, because I was like, I just keep dying.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's weird because like, games are both, sometimes they're harder and sometimes they're easier than games used to be, but it's kind of like, it's weird where your patience lies as you get older, right? So like a lot of games, Hollow Knight, for example, is a game, I really liked it, but I stopped partway through because I was like, I think it's just, I don't think the fact that it's hard is bugging me. I think the fact that it's like when you die, you start so far back. That's bugging me, and so I am kind of just like meat shield. I just kind of like throw myself at the bosses, trying to beat them, whether I'm doing it right or not. So for like Rogue Legacy, I think the game was just fun enough for me to continue trying in the old NES style of just like, let's just keep playing this game. Same with Crypt of the Necrodancer, which was very hard. Took me a long time to pass, but I really like wanted to pass that game. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see like what games you still have patience for as you get older and have less time.
I can answer that question. Very few.
Right? Right? And then you learn to not feel bad about like abandoning games partway, because it's also, there's just too much out there.
24 hours in a day,
Right? I do still feel guilty about like the games I want to like Enter the Gungeon. I feel like I don't quite understand that game. And I want to like it.
That's a good game, but I gave up on it too.
I'm looking. I just pulled up Full Metal Furies and looks great too. I feel like I'm always looking for. Is this online co-op or is it local?
It's both, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
It's interesting. It has a little more strategy to like its sort of. It's not a beat 'em up, but it's like a beat 'em up with like a lot more depth.
I like that.
Cooldowns and things like that, and the enemies will have different like color, different attacks of like one particular character. You can counter it in special ways. It's pretty cool.
That's good. That sounds cool. I feel like it's another thing where my friends and I are always looking for co-op games to play, and there's really not that many out there, surprisingly.
Like ones you want to play, or just ones you want to play?
I guess a little bit of both. Like games that we can play with online co-op that aren't just like, let's just go, like that are just FPSs and things like that.
Gotcha.
if you guys have other suggestions, but
you think I would have some? Seeing as how I'm drawing a blank, of course. Like
right. I'm literally I go onto Steam and I click that co-op tab and I just scroll through them, and there's obviously a ton on there of various qualities, but you really realize there's kind of like a lack of great games out there. Everyone
Ultimate Chicken Horse. If you played Ultimate Chicken Horse,
that's not online, is it?
Oh yes.
Yes, it is. I guess I wouldn't call it co-op though, since you're fighting each other.
But it's not like to the deck. You're just have you ever played it before? Or are you new to the concept?
I've watched a lot of it.
Oh, okay. So you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is online. That is a thing. Stick fight. That's a good one. It's kind of goofy, but I like that one. Gang Beast is online.
I don't think
I guess more
experiences. I feel like we don't know what the definition of cooperative.
I was about to suggest like the Lara Croft, the Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris games. Those are co-op games.
Those are good suggestions. They actually fit what she's asking for. I'll just shut up.
I was just saying game titles. I went blank for a second.
Well, no, I'm thinking
Super
of
Mario Brothers is a game.
I'm just thinking of like local multiplayer or online multiplayer. I'm not thinking when you meant working together. Yeah, sorry about that.
Isn't 20XX a co-op game?
Yes, it is.
Not a game that you talk about all the time?
Yes, I do.
So,
I'm glad you brought that up.
There would be one that you enjoy.
Yeah, that's my two big games.
I'll be real quick. So, Overwatch released new content this week, guys. I mean,
a new hat, huh?
There are several new hats. I will not have umbrage at the number of hats.
Is there a Malibu Stacy hat though?
There, not yet.
Then what are we talking about here?
You made the joke before I could.
So, I mean, hey,
it was
Overwatch continues to be a great game. A lot of people are playing with us. Aaron, you were donated to play it, and I still don't think I've actually seen you play the game.
Tiny, I saw you playing on Xbox the other day, and I was like, I should play. Oh wait, something else is happening.
That's super weird because I haven't turned on my Xbox since before the new year. But I'm glad you saw someone playing online.
Really?
You should be very concerned that someone's in your house. So.
Yeah, apparently I should go look at that because also I own a physical copy, so I don't know how. Maybe they bought me an online copy. These nice people.
Physical challenge.
That is weird. No, when I signed into Xbox like less than a week ago, it said we're playing Overwatch.
Because Windows 10 reads PC.
That's what it is. Gotcha.
So hey, new content this week. They also released a new map this week. It's like a Disney World but Blizzard themed. It's called Blizzard World. So I've been playing that.
It's a cold world after all. It's a cold world after all. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all StarCraft and like Lost Vikings and Warcraft and that kind of stuff.
Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you.
It's gonna make a lot of sense for references. I also started playing because Awesome Games Done Quick. I started playing through the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
That's a remake, right? Of the.
This is the re-release. This is the one that has plus Minions, which is on the 3DS.
I'm gonna play that. I like that game.
It's great. Like if you want a fun writing, it's Mario and Luigi. Like you have controls of like A button controls Mario, B button controls Luigi for like their attacks and their defense, and it's an RPG, so it's turn based. It's funny, like all this weird stuff's going on. Like you should give it a shot. Like and it is a remake of the GBA game, so you might also have the GBA game already.
I don't have the GBA game, so I'm
access to it via some method.
Gasp.
So yeah, and then I put $100 into my Switch and said I was going to buy some digital games. So I bought Never Stop Sneaking, which I think is a great game.
So I recommend it.
I enjoy it.
I should actually play the game that I paid for already.
Oh, you already bought it?
No,
Yeah.
Who does that?
If you already bought it, you should definitely play it. I just, the run-based nature of it, I'm not sure you will enjoy, but I guess we'll see.
I'll try. I mean, like I said, like
You already spent money on it, so
Yeah,
it really
I
is.
genuinely want to see what this game looks like.
And then I also bought TinyMetal, a game that I got sent from the publisher, a code for PC, and I was like, I want to play this on Switch. So
Did you play the PC version?
I have definitely started the PC version.
Is there online co-op or counter-op?
That has not come out yet. That feature is coming to all platforms later. So, but I mean,
Switch gets it, you'll all get it. Is that basically
kind of? I mean, but it's scratching that itch that like Advance Wars left, like turn-based.
Well, they used that in the
modern
marketing, right? They that was like on the nose.
They definitely mentioned Advanced Wars. But I'll be honest, at some points the story bores me, and thankfully they give you a fast forward option, and it'll just fast forward right to the next time you actually play the game.
Oh, just like I said earlier, just skip all the cutscenes.
Yeah,
play the game and don't worry about story.
They are going to take the TinyMetal approach to Ni no Kuni 2, and get rid of all the things that were interesting about Ni no Kuni. No, I apologize. That's not entirely true. Just my opinion.
But it could be.
And then I also picked up Darkest Dungeon, another game that I also own on PC.
You're not going to play that game. It's too difficult.
I have started playing that game. There's apparently a bug that makes it unwinnable with the DLC, which is funny.
Perfect.
But I mean, Aaron is right. There's definitely a difficulty to it. If you haven't played it yet, it is a position-based, turn-based strategy game.
You just talked me right out of it.
You're 4 people standing in a line, so like the person at the back can't be using melee attacks because he's going to attack the person in front of him or her.
It's both logical and terrible.
So, but they're also probably the safest from the attacks, and like they develop like random psychosis from going into this dungeon. Like there's a lot of like Lovecraftian stuff going on. On the Switch, I think it was a great fit. So, I look forward to playing more of it. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, we're playing more PUBG, and I already talked about the Extra Life thing with it. So, like, let's get a chicken dinner.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, what me and you were playing with Linux the other night. He put up that video.
Yeah, I watched most of it before the show.
So, yeah. Mike, what about you?
Editing the little videos. So,
what about you, bud?
The only thing I want to mention again, which I talked about last episode, but I actually did finish now, is Mafia 2, which I will say yet again that it is not a fantastic game. It is a game filled with flaws. It is a game that was clearly released before they were able to complete the vision for whatever they had, because this is they built an entire city for which there is nothing to do in it other than complete missions. So it easily could have been a linear game and not an open, sandbox, open world style game. But as a side story / prequel, predecessor, whatever, to Mafia 3, I found it incredibly interesting, because we get to see what's going on, what happened, what was the lead up to one of the relatively, not completely, but relatively major characters in Mafia 3. And another character. Yeah.
I don't know it had any.
It, to a degree, and I looked up what the connection is to Mafia 1, which I never did play, but I do own on the original Xbox. And one of the missions that you complete in Mafia 2 is a recreation of the ending of Mafia 1.
Yep. Which
I didn't know when I did it, but after the fact, I watched it and like both versions of the ending, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. Also, you'll never see the character from Mafia 1 ever appear in anything else again.
No.
Major spoiler there for the character you play as in Mafia 1, apparently.
There's a lot of racing in Mafia 1. Like, you do a lot of, 1930s open wheel racing.
It was supposed to be a Midnight Club's prequel.
But see, this is what's really strange.
So hard to control.
There is nothing like that in Mafia 2. Like, absolutely nothing. But in Mafia 3, they brought all the racing back as a completely optional side thing just to, like, earn money or whatever. It's interesting. I find all of it, like, just like an interesting, like, look into game development and what's there. Like, the more I played it, the more I appreciated, like, the facial work that they did, because at the time I'm sure it was like the best that was able to be accomplished. But it's very different from what was done later, because it feels like in Mafia 2 the faces look like pretty good, and the lip syncing is really, really good, but the way the characters move is more like an early David Cage game. Like, it's just sort of like, here's some mannequins walking around that when cutscenes happen, their faces look pretty convincing for the day. I mean, I guess sort of like LA Noire. Maybe that's a good comparison, but yeah, I don't know. Like, as like a starting point for a series, I wouldn't recommend jumping into Mafia 2 as like where to begin. But if you've already played Mafia 3 and you liked it like I did, it's not a bad 10 to 11 hours to just take a look at Mafia 2 and see what the connections are. You know, with looking at it from a historical standpoint. Like, this is an earlier game, by all means. Like, it's I don't know, but it's cool. I did enjoy my time with it. Like, the shooting is not as good, but just the story is, it's interesting.
Gotcha.
No,
okay,
it was all right.
Well, cool.
But anyway, that's that's all I really need to talk about. Like, mentioned PUBG already, so we're good. Aaron, what have you been playing?
Well, there was a service called Rainway.io. It came out on the 20th, on Saturday, well, supposedly. And, well, the idea is you run an app on your PC, and you're supposed to be able to stream your Steam games from anywhere. They had a lot of issues. I guess there was a lot more interest in it than they anticipated, because it never worked the entire weekend. Supposedly a fix came out today or maybe tomorrow that's going to, I guess, get it into actually working shape. So I was sort of looking forward to messing with that, but didn't really work that well. So I don't know. It seems kind of cool. I know in the use cases they show in their trailer for it are people, a woman playing the Switch, but using the Switch to play her PC games and going all over the world or whatever, and coming back home and then just picking up from where she left off. So I guess they're focusing on obviously on PC, the Android version, Xbox One, and I guess the Switch and the PS4 are a little further off, but they kind of, well, at least for the Switch, of course, because the Switch is very popular right now, very topical, they kind of were harping on, the Switch stuff, but I don't think that's coming out anytime soon. So hopefully I can try it maybe this weekend and, I don't know, see if it works pretty well. So it would be nice to stream games, not just locally. Obviously the PS4 has a solution for that, which works pretty well, but PC and Xbox not so much. So we'll see. In terms of games I actually played, InnerSpace, not the Martin Short movie. Martin Short and was it Dennis Quaid? Not that. It's this weird. It's a game for like you're like in a ship that can fly. You can also go underwater, and I guess all these ancient civilizations have died off or whatever. And you have to kind of resurrect. You have to like find these relics and talk to some of these ancient creatures who will bestow their wind to you. And I guess it's sort of like you're recording the history of this culture. but you're in a spaceship. But there's no end game because you can crash into stuff and you don't blow up because it's more about just discovery. It's kind of frustrating in that it doesn't really give you anything to go on. It's very talky, so there's a lot of text, a lot of backstory that really doesn't amount to a whole lot. It also doesn't really point you in a direction. I know that's intentional, but it's kind of frustrating. But I feel like as my frustration gets to the point where I'm getting ready to turn the game off, that's the exact point where I have a breakthrough. Like, oh, okay, and then something opens up, and then I make progress. So there's a lot of flying, and like the wings of your craft can like cut these strings, or you find ways to like smash glass, access different parts. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's interesting. Once you feel like you're making progress, it is very relaxing. Like I fought a boss today. It was like this huge whale with like sort of like a crustacean head, and I had to like not attack it because it doesn't really hurt you, but you had to sort of break off all these pieces to free it, and then you could read a whole bunch of stuff about, thousands of years ago, whatever. The story, I don't really understand it, but
kind of sounds like you were picking on that whale. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It wouldn't stop swimming away. I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely worth checking.
It was trying to get away from you, and you
hunted it down.
Well, no, I mean, I freed. I think it had become over encumbered.
I freed it by murdering it.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But yeah, it's a thing. What else did I play? I played some Immortal Redneck on the Xbox One. I watched the trailer and I was like, well, what kind of game is this going to be? And of course, as you're playing, it's a roguelike. And Karrie, you mentioned Rogue Legacy in the same way where you have to pay? You pay money to that ghost or whatever before you can go back into the castle every time. Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of thing, but this is a first-person game. You're shooting everything, and you earn money as you do a run. You die, you come back out of a sarcophagus or whatever, and then of course there's a little tent there for you to upgrade. It's the same kind of mechanic where you spend everything you have on as much as you can to upgrade yourself, and then whatever's left over you have to give to the statues to let you back into the pyramid. It's goofy, but it runs pretty well. It looks it's very colorful. It has a nice look to it. It's quick. I haven't gotten to the top of any of the pyramids as of yet, but it's I don't know. It's pretty cool. I jumped back into some Slime Son for the Switch. That is a great game. That is, I don't know. Anybody played Slime Son before? Platformer, just tons of levels it throws at you. Some of them, they look so difficult you're thinking I'll never get through them, but you will. Very fun game to just pick back up and just play. Very good. Jump back into some Metal Gear Rising because it's backward compatible. I love that game. It still plays. It is still so much better than it has any business being.
Did you finish it ever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just
I did.
Checking it out.
Yeah, I fought the senator. I mean, it took me a little while to beat the senator, but yeah, I did finally.
You made America great again many years before.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that line. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see, Candleman. I'm playing it on PC.
How stupid it would be if that's where Trump got that line from.
Well, the senator says it. I don't. Well, and we know a lot of his stuff came from Reagan.
Right.
So.
All right.
Yep.
I'll let you continue on. Excuse me.
But don't get me started on that. Candleman. It's a platformer. You only use one. Like, you can't control the camera, so everything is wherever the camera wants to be. It's very static. But the whole premise is you just want to get to the end of each level, and I think you can light other candles up to 10 times. So if you light too many candles on your way, then you just have no light to get to the end of the level. So you have to kind of be careful about which candles you sort of light to light your way to go. So, well, it seems kind of fun. And then I put a little bit of time into Tesla versus Lovecraft, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter. Very fun. So far, I am Tesla fighting Lovecraftian creatures. So,
That's the way that should be.
Yeah, it's pretty much. We got to wrap up here. Microsoft announced that Xbox Game Pass is going to get
day one
games, starting off with Sea of Thieves.
First party exclusive games.
Yeah. That's a big
when I
deal.
first read that, it was like, oh, awesome. And then I thought about how many games could possibly be involved. And I was like, oh, well,
yeah,
maybe I'll just buy the games at a discount and it'll be fine.
I mean, that's a big deal for the next Halo and whatnot. Like,
or
Or you
Gears.
just get it
or
on
whatever.
20% off and you'll be fine.
That too.
not everyone has the GameEnthus money like you do, Mike.
Yeah.
No. This is Amazon and or the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlock. It's a fine discount, but
Gotcha.
I will definitely be checking out Sea of Thieves with my 1 month free pass that I've been holding on to.
I think we all will. Get the 800th betas out for that thing, closed beta.
Is it super weird that God of War and Nintendo Labo come out on the same day?
Oh, 420.
Super weird.
Super weird, right?
Also,
Like,
420.
right. I mean, I understood why the cardboard was coming out on 420. We could put a lot of things together and then smoke out of them. But God of War's really not fitting in. It's just weird that they both fall on the same and they announced within a week, so it's not like God of War was like, haha, we gotta really compete.
So maybe it just happens to be on a regular release date and not a special, it's 420, we have to release our game on it day.
When is our fiscal year end? Yeah, let's get this done.
More likely.
They're totally they'd be 20 days into their new fiscal year.
Oh, well.
The weird thing is this is a Friday release.
Yeah.
But that's becoming more and more common.
Yeah, that seems to be the change, but
Maybe Kratos will just share some peyote with his son and be like, yeah, let's get high and murder some more gods.
let's bend some cardboard
Let's make up some gods so we can murder them.
and plug Joy-Cons in. And then rest in peace, Miitomo.
Nobody's going to miss
Miitomo.
Miitomo.
No.
That was the worst crap ever.
The question is, do you think Pocket Camp is going to go the same route after a year? Because I've already stopped playing it.
My phone didn't even support Pocket Camp, so yeah.
What kind of phone do you have?
I still have a 5, and it works fine. Funny enough, I replaced the battery like a day before they announced they were going to do battery replacements. I was like,
Oh, but don't worry, because 5s and 5Ss were not included in the special discount anyway.
oh, that's fine. I mean, the battery took 5 seconds to replace. Like I did all this on
You
my
can't even run the
Oh.
official GameEnthus app on a 5.
Okay.
I don't even know if
you
that's
seem
a
fine with
legit
that.
thing or not.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
I didn't think we still had an app, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, I
Windows
guess
Phone exclusive.
I don't know. I hope Pocket, really, Pocket Camp just has the Animal Crossing behind it to keep pushing it. Like, who here picked up Miitomo on 3DS?
That's a thing?
What was the game that tied to Miitomo that came out on 3DS?
I don't know or
One that-
care.
Tomodachi Collection?
Oh yeah, Tomodachi came out.
Oh, I did. That game was the best.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna ask how much you played because I got Shaq and that was about where I ended at Tomodachi Life. So
No, I played that game. I really liked that game a lot. I mean, the problem with Miitomo was it wasn't even. I thought it would have been great if they made it like line chat, like a messenger app that you attach your Miis to. You could free talk in it, and I would use that. I loved having my Mii there. I loved having them talk, but there was literally nothing to do. You could just answer these pre-recorded questions, and that's it. I don't understand what they actually thought was going to be the continued hook in that game.
Did they even weren't there meetings about this? So after this, what happens?
Right?
Everybody left the rooms. I don't know. I guess
This is where people just hand us cash. I don't know.
they'll pay to
More
find out.
questions.
Yeah, Nintendo wasn't really doing its whole cell phone thing. This is not going very well.
It's easy to ignore.
is that true though? people seem to like.
I don't think
really
Mario
enjoy
performed like they thought
No,
it would.
the Fire Emblem game seems to be like holding together.
Okay,
And
okay.
It
so-
seems like Super Mario didn't Super Mario just get an update too? Like, I agree it didn't perform, but like maybe that was also, hey, it's time to reset expectations on what $10 in the App Store actually is going to do.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say things were abject failures. I just don't think things have performed quite as well as they would have liked. There is a gray area. I'm not saying they should give up all hope. Like,
I'm just saying that like maybe this is their readjustment to what like.
I mean, you live and you learn, you know?
Right, they had to readjust their piece, but like
People do
I mean-
live streams of podcasts with static images. I mean, you live and you learn. I mean, it's just one of those things. You know?
so
It was a
weird.
4-hour podcast.
Exactly.
Oh god, flashbacks. But I mean, Karrie, you said you played Pocket Camp. Did anyone else?
Nope.
My kids did. They talked about it the first day, and they have not mentioned it since.
But like the weird thing is, Pocket Camp doesn't seem to capture like the fun of Animal Crossing.
Well, they don't know anything about Animal Crossing because they played so little of it, so they have nothing to compare it to.
Gotcha.
I mean, I feel like the approach must be making deliberately lighter versions of their existing games to go on mobile. Like, I think Pocket Camp really was that. They're like, hey, they have the capacity to make a full-blown Animal Crossing for the phone, right? Like leaving all the existing mechanics in there. It's not like the phones can't power it. I think they're deliberately making these choices of just like, we're not going to run over our market. Like, we're not going to have you choose between phone or Switch or, you know, your handheld device. It's going to be completely different experiences, but they're too light. There's not much to do. I mean, and I know for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, like they're adding more stuff. By the time I already stopped playing, by the time they introduced clothing, crafting, and just when they put in like the first farming stuff. But like, I don't know, there's just no gameplay. There's no depth at all.
Well, you know, Tesla's coming out with a new line of cars that use gas. They don't want to step on what they already have, you know, because
This joke.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, but it's like you're absolutely
for a second,
right.
I thought you were talking about how they're launching a Tesla on the next rocket.
No.
But like, no, this was actually just a joke.
I thought you were going to say Tesla was getting into app development. I was like, no.
Well, you already mentioned Tesla versus Lovecraft, so it's
Which is what I also thought you were originally referencing. But
Yeah, but I guess they either it's if you're going to get into this space, people are going to want something a little more substantial. And plus, with the device that they're going to have all the time, they have to figure out where that sweet spot is, where we're not overshadowing what we're releasing for our dedicated systems, but people aren't going to play it for a day and go, well, there's nothing else here. And they just have to find out where that sweet spot is.
yeah, or they make as much money as quickly as they can and then get out.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. Just set everything on fire and just walk away. You know.
like Miitomo. Like, do you, when Miitomo was coming out, and people were like, "Oh, I made a New Zealand account so I could get into Miitomo." Like, it was a thing, and then
it was the
no,
stab from Nintendo at the mobile, thing.
but like it's been every app they've done. I think has had that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to continue forever.
I don't bet against Nintendo.
Yeah, but I bet against people paying $10 for Mario Run.
I bet we're going to wrap the show up.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, Karrie, any shout-outs, plugs, anything you want to say on our way out?
I guess since we talked about PAX East, if any of you guys are going to be at PAX East, come by the TinyBuild booth. It's bright and orange, can't miss it, and say hello.
Will do. Actually, I'm sure you met a lot of people, but I actually did an interview with you for Mr. Shifty.
Yes, I remember.
PC.
Was that East or West? I can't remember.
That was East.
Our booth is always it's always bright orange, so I forget time and place.
You see a lot of people as well. I didn't assume you'd remember. Thousands of people are like, here's our game. So yeah.
No, I think because I remember because I worked with you on like my agency games, so like we've given you codes for other games before, so I remember your outlet very well.
You're the first one. Thank you.
But yeah, PAX East should be pretty big. So at PAX South, we had just announced a game called Outpost Zero. It's kind of like a first-person StarCraft-esque type of experience. And it was for private press demo only at PAX South. So if the developers like keep on task at East, you'll be able to play it. And TinyBuild's kind of moving from indie publishing to what we consider AA publishing with, Hello Neighbor and now Outpost Zero. So there's going to be kind of a very different game going on. So you guys should come by and try it and make an appointment with me so we can hang out again.
Most certainly will.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to give out those lanyards again?
Oh, yeah. To you, of course.
Cool. All the right answers. Tiny?
Hey, make sure to go to extra-life.org/PUBG, PUBG, to check out the PUBG campaign that's going on until, I think, the end of February. So, like I said, they're going to match up to $300,000, so raise your money and double the money you raise for your hospital. And, I mean, you could always join the GameEnthus team while you're there. So, and also, yeah, come to Miami. Because that's easy to do and cheap.
Just cuz.
Yeah, come to Miami and go to Extra Life United. You already know the games now that I talked about them at the beginning.
I thought Extra Life United was at Disney World.
Orlando.
Oh, wait, I said Miami. I meant Orlando.
Okay. Those are not really that close.
I keep thinking MCO because I was looking at flights earlier. Because I want to find the good flight with the seats that turn into beds. So
it's not like a 15-hour flight, man.
People just wandering around Miami yelling, Tiny, PUBG.
If I'm paying for my own travel, I'm traveling comfortably. So that's the first week in March. Yes, first week in March, and then I go to PAX the next month. It'll be great. But yeah, Extra Life United, come play games, win money for your hospital, meet a bunch of Twitch streamers. I don't know if I'm. Yeah, they'll be announced. So yeah, Mike.
I do, as always, encourage those who are eligible to donate blood, which I will begrudgingly admit that I'm a little behind on, so I do need to get on that. But also, if you have pets, to have them spayed or neutered. As like a closeout thing, I'll say, if you want to visit with people and catch them at a good time at PAX East, maybe show up on Thursday when people are still energized and have some sort of zest for life, and don't talk to people on Sunday when they just want to crawl into a hole and die.
Good advice.
Just throwing that out there.
Or on Sunday. On Sunday, stop by the Extra Life booth and sign up. Just throwing that out there. I'll be there all day.
Sure. Nobody's going to be tired or irritated on Sunday.
Why do you hate kids? Now, who would say that? Yeah. Anyway, Aaron, what about you, bud?
Thank you, Karrie, for joining us. Thank you for your time. We certainly appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Cool.
Thank you all the listeners. Thank you, Jovan and Keon, for leaving voicemails. We always appreciate those. Make the show better, that's for sure. Mike, thank you for your time as well. If you want to leave us a voicemail like Jovan and Keon did, you can always leave one at 202-573-7686. And also email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. And if you want to tweet about the show, please use hashtag GenThus podcast, all one word, GENTHUS podcast. But don't forget the hashtag or else it won't work. So, and I'm rambling, so we're going to get out of here. Lord willing, we'll be back next week. If we're not, I'm sure you'll find other reasons to live other than this show.
As my favorite podcast review has told us so far, there's better options.
There really are. We'd be lying if we said there weren't, but yeah. We've been doing this for over 300 episodes, so why stop now?
That guy said that on every review he's ever left in iTunes. I mean, I totally stalked him.
What is wrong with this person?
It doesn't matter what
podcast. Don't worry about it. Jeez.
Great.
They're not lying. It's a weird comment.
The only negative review we've ever had.
Anyway, we're good.
All right, we're out of here.